past today to see this rather pretty town and think, oh, it wasn't so bad. But when you see and remember it was a ghetto, not a camp.
It's been a very emotional weekend, starting with the Friday night dinner and bonding with so many of the generations of the boys. And then yesterday we had a lovely concert, but today has just been beyond our wildest dreams. To actually take part in the photograph was just amazing. To think that my dad was there 74 years ago, and now to come to Terezin, where I know it was his final place on his Holocaust journey, is just so emotional. And my husband David married into this family, so his thoughts may be very different.
I mean, at Terezin, I agree with everything my wife said. I think Terezin wasn't only the end of his journey, it was where he was reborn and where he started his new life and produced a family that I was privileged to marry into. So it was a very moving experience.
My father was Krillik, who all weekend people have been coming up to me and telling me I look like him and saying wonderful things about him and how much they miss him. And I came here for him, and I'm really glad I did. I found it very emotional, very moving weekend. The high point was the photograph, reproducing the photograph at 8 o'clock this morning. That was joyous. But then we came to Terezin, and I wandered into the crematorium. I was by myself. I didn't really know where I was going. And it is the saddest, the grimmest place I've ever been. There were ghosts in every corner. And then we said Kaddish outside, and birds were singing. There were trees. And it felt to me, that's what this weekend was. It was a triumph of life over death. And, well, you can see, my father was very lachrymose as he got older, and I'm following him in this. It has been very moving. It's been great, and brilliantly organised too. The boys and their children, they're my family, they're my real family. And kinder to me than my actual family, actually. And I felt that has been a great thing about this weekend, and any time I see them, that I feel, we are kindred. My father, perhaps because of the terrible way his life started, was a very positive man. He made the best of everything, always. And a happy man. I can remember him singing while he was shaving every morning. And I miss him.
We're now in Terezin, and my father was on a 20-day death march from Remsdorf. He was on a train for 5 days, and the railway track was bombed, and then he walked for 20 days with no food, and he chewed the bark off trees and ate the grass and ate flower buds and leaves, and unbelievably somehow managed to get himself to Terezin here where he collapsed.
Yeah.
And he was in a hospital for 3 days, and he slept for 3 days, and when he woke up it was the 9th of May and 1945.
And the Red Army had liberated.
The camp had been liberated.
Yeah.
And it's pretty amazing to be here.
You're seeing the history.
74 years later. How do you feel about it?
It's kind of crazy because you think it happened a long time ago, and then you see the rail tracks all still there, and you realise that it really wasn't long ago. Like all that happened was recent.
Times.
Exactly.
Yeah, it is quite
hasn't
strange.
even been 100 years. 75 next year.
It's not long at all.
No.
It feels like a massive honour to be here, because without my grandpa, I wouldn't be here. He went through a hell of a lot. He was the most amazing man. I remember him very, very well. He was a big inspiration to me and still is. I still think about him every day in everything that I do. He comes into my thoughts a lot because I know that what he went through, everything else seems easy. So it's an amazing moment for me. I haven't actually been to anywhere where he had been before. So this is amazing for me to be here today with all my family. I've also got a 8-month-old baby boy, so he's 4th generation.
It feels like a dream to be here, and I'm so blessed. I can't believe that I've gone on a plane to be here, and I've learned all about how everything was and how everyone had the dreams, and I'm so grateful that my great-grandpa survived. If he didn't survive, my papa wouldn't have been born, then he wouldn't have had my mum, and I wouldn't have been born, so I'm really grateful to be here. Bye. Yeah, I felt very happy, and I felt excited, and I was proud.
I'm the son of Dadik, later David Lenchner, who was one of the boys. I only found out that my father was one of the boys last year by kind of accidentally seeing a show at the London Jewish Museum, and that started a little bit of investigation, which ended up me buying the book about it and then making a few investigations and meeting the 45 Aid Society, having the reunion last year. And I thought I wanted to be here as part of this to represent the family, which I think is an important thing to do, to make sure that this is properly remembered and when you get a proper feel for what happens to him. And, you know, I found out lots of things already from this trip which I didn't know before, and so that's important.
It's quite an emotional thing to come here. For me it's of particular interest because I went on the March of the Living in 2011 in 2010 with my father, and coming here is reminiscent of that. My father passed in 2012, but since then I haven't had an opportunity to really spend time thinking about him and his experiences during the war, and coming here has brought a lot of the memories back of what he has shared with me during his lifetime about his experiences, and also renewed an interest for me in his journey and what it meant for him. You know, there's a lot of my father in me, and I'd like to think that some of the positive attitude he had towards life I share, but sometimes I think to myself, well, how was it he's so positive? How could he be such a gregarious individual, having had such a harsh experience? And he used to say, I had a bad start in life, but things worked out better later.
So it's been an important few days, the opportunity to come with my father, Ben Helfgott, and with other survivors, and as, if not more importantly, other 2nd and 3rd generation. We share a bond, we share a particular story, and the vision of the boys was to go and teach the lessons of tolerance, to teach how important it is that Jews can defend themselves in their own country, Israel, and to make sure that we remember the lessons of the Holocaust and those who were victims. And that is the lesson to live and to build and to grow. And being here with 2nd and 3rd generation, 4th generation, it's extremely heartwarming. It's just wonderful. And for me, knowing that the 45 Aid Society legacy is evolving, developing, and we'll be back here in 26 years' time for the 100th anniversary, and we'll take the photo again. And in the meantime, there's lots of work to do to get over those messages and to celebrate life.